right, welcome to Party Chat. This is our third episode, much delayed, but we're finally back in here. So I've got Mitch and Aaron here with me as always.
Hey, going.
Hello.
So we're just going to do a little bit of a top 3 games for 2019, some disappointments, and what we're looking forward to in 2020. And then we'll be back on sort of like a regular schedule for this year. So aim is weekly episodes. But to kick it off, for me, I guess probably one of my top favorite games was Control. I don't know if either of you have played this one.
I've played it. I very mixed feelings about Control, actually. I played Control for a bit. I enjoyed the gameplay a bit, but the story just baffles me. I'm just like, I have no idea what the hell is going on right now.
That's the good part, though. It's like Twin Peaksy, X-Files, Fringe. That's what hooked me in. Like, I had no idea what happened at the end. I literally jumped straight on Reddit and was like, what the fuck? But that's what compelled me to keep going. Like, the gameplay was good, but just trying to find out what the hell all this whispers and hiss and whatever it was. But for me, I don't know, I just completely grabbed my attention. I sort of had to play it all as soon as I could.
Yeah, to get it wrong, like, it grabbed my attention too. The story is definitely pushes it through it, but for me, I could only play it in like chunks, basically. I could play it for like maybe an hour or so, and then after that I'm just like, I'm going to move on to something else. Like it was enough to grab my attention a little bit for the gameplay, but then after a while I was going to get bored of it. So
yeah, no, there's only
that's just me.
a few games this year that sort of have like when you play it, you just have to keep playing because I get very easily distracted. And Control was just one. Yeah, I played it and I couldn't put it down. I just absolutely loved it. So Aaron, one of your favorite games from 2019?
Oh, it's really tough. It's probably left field for me, but one of my favorites would have to be Super Mario Maker 2, actually.
Good choice.
I love the Mario Maker games, mainly because I'm a bit of a Mario fan. I love playing all the 2D platformers of Mario, and being able to create your own levels and play other people's levels of from all your favorite Mario games is just it's never ending fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I played it for quite some time, actually. So yeah, it was pretty high up on that list. Not much of a story. They did add a story mode to it, but overall, yeah, it's hours of fun.
Yeah, I've actually haven't played it, but I've been meaning to jump on it. Just it got lost in amongst. We're just talking about it before. All the games that came out in 2019, I had to choose, and it didn't quite make the list. Not to say it's bad, just those others I had preference for.
Money's a finite resource.
Yeah.
Mitch, we know you're a PC advocate. What was one of your favorite games for 2019?
It's hard to choose out of the main, the big companies. Probably Gears 5. I spent a fair bit of time playing that. I don't really have a favorite because I'm always chopping and changing, especially with different MMOs and their updates coming out and going, oh, I've got to try that. But I actually, the one, the Outer Worlds. Have you guys heard of that one? Yep.
Yeah, the Outer Worlds that came out in the Game Pass for Xbox, so you could get it on the Game Pass, and also came out on PC.
Yeah, so I smashed that on Game Pass. That was
they plan to bring it out on Switch for you two Switch users. In 2020.
Outer Worlds.
That is
Switch.
The plan.
Jesus.
Well, there you go.
I haven't heard
There's
that
a
yet.
little bit of information for you.
I don't know. That's the one thing that kind of annoys me about Switch is like, I love it, great console, but I just hate when they try and smash all these like AAA high quality games on there, and they're sort of like watered down
like
versions.
The Witcher,
like
the Witcher earlier this year.
Witcher 3, that's a
like,
great one. Yeah.
But
That didn't come out last year.
I can't bring myself to play it on the Switch. It's just it loses so much of that fidelity, the beauty that the game has. So it's for me, it's just I can't do it.
Yeah, definitely. No, the Outer Worlds. I reckon I spent probably 2 weeks solid just playing. It reminded me so much of like Fallout 4 or Fallout, just the Fallout series, as well as like Borderlands series, and I was just like, oh, I'm loving this. And then in the end, I just like sat back and went, well, this was all a massive waste of fucking time. But anyway, it was good at the time. It was good at the time.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
No, it's a good game. I think it wraps up pretty nicely too, because you get that sort of like summary epilogue of your actions and where your characters ended up.
Yeah, I think that's probably the hard part for me, because I was like, I looked back and went, oh, but I should have done all of these things differently. But anyway.
Yeah, I literally I was a good guy throughout the whole thing, and then there was at one point I accidentally shot someone, and then the whole town hated me, and I don't know why, but my saves weren't working properly, so I couldn't actually go back to before I shot. So I was left with a town that hated me, and I was like, whatever. So from then I just killed everyone I met.
Brutal. No,
so
I bet
I didn't
not.
get a great ending, but I felt good.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of it, though. It's you play it as you want to play. It's not like here's a path and that's what you take A to B. It's like here's A, B, C, D, F, G.
Which is what I really liked about it.
So one of my other favorites then was what's my list say? Hang on. Fallen Order. So I sort of wasn't expecting a lot from it. Star Wars games lately haven't been amazing. There's been a lot of Battlefront 2 and whatever. I think now it's okay, but when it released, pretty average. But Fallen Order, it's not like a 10 out of 10, but what they did with the Star Wars, universe and the characters and the gameplay, I just really digged it. So like a Dark Soulsy twist on it all.
Me too. I actually was pretty surprised with Fallen Order. Actually, like, not to say just because it's EA, it's going to be terrible, but EA hasn't had a good track record so far. For them to bring out a single player game that's actually pretty decent, has a good storyline, it's compelling, and a bit of a twist at the end. And has the feel of like both Dark Souls and platforming, similar to like Uncharted and Tomb Raider and all that. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, for me, I was
fun
really
to play
surprised that like EA released a single player, focused Star Wars game, because I think they were infamous for saying that single player games are dead. And they released one, and it was like one of the best selling games of 2019. So it goes to show you they're not always right.
Yeah. I tend to disagree with companies that say that too, like single player games are dead. You find that most single player games are actually selling, if not more or about equal to multiplayer games these days. It's just, I think there's a big drop off though, because as soon as you finish a story game, it's not much incentive for people to go back and play it again.
That's why a lot of games incorporate multiplayer into the single player game. Like you got the different things where you have an open world that has your single player story in it, and you can multiplayer at the same time, whether co-op or versus or whatever. And then you've got games that have a full multiplayer section in their game where you can go out of the world you're in into another world or other matches and play there. I think it needs a balance.
Yeah, that's why it's admirable that they just stuck to single player, and I think it just really proved that not every game has to do that. They don't have to be Call of Duty where they have your campaign and then your multiplayer. Some games can just be single player. You 10, 15, 20 hours, whatever it is, you play it, you love it, and that's it. You don't have to sort of try and, like, it's not a service they're offering. They're not trying to keep it going.
Well, look at the Elder Scrolls games. They did well at that. They always have.
Oh, people
I still
Oblivion.
play Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Yeah,
it's ugly as dog shit, but
yeah. The graphics compared to today are quite horrible, as well as the controls. But those things can be tampered with a little bit. But they're still great storytelling games. That's
they can be fixed in post. Aaron, so you're another one of your top favorite games, man?
I know it's probably going to be a little bit controversial with some people, but Days Gone actually was my second pick. I got lost in that world for many, many hours, and pretty much did most of the hordes in that. And then I only just recently found out there's a secret ending to that game that happens in the post game, so which sets up a sequel. So for me, that's
you gotta keep playing it. I think.
In the post game, which I had no idea that was a thing, and but I love the whole freaker idea, getting your bike, just killing zombies, hunting animals, the whole works. I just really thoroughly enjoyed that game. It's the twists and turns, the game being a lot longer than I thought it would be, but overall it was pretty good.
Yeah, I love that game, but I completely forgot it came out, which I feel bad for saying because it was really awesome. But yeah, it felt like forever ago that came out.
Yeah, no, definitely 2019.
All right, well, Mitch, you what was one of your other favorite games, mate, besides Arcade?
Well, geez, what else did I play this year? I played a lot of I don't know. I played a lot of Star Citizen. Well, that didn't come out this year, I know. It's just games I played. So Arcade, Star Citizen, games like that. Had a lot of fun going back and looking at the updates that they'd done, testing out new features and things like that, which was really cool. And both of those, especially Star Citizen, I look forward to for 2020. We'll talk about that later. As far as AAA games go, though, Rage 2 wasn't bad.
I was gonna say that's surprising.
I've just started playing that on PC, and I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it as much as
it's not bad for what it is.
It has been.
Yeah.
Granted, but like the same as Rage 1, a lot of people gave that a lot of stick, but I loved that game, and same with Rage 2. I am really enjoying it again. It's not exactly. It's like Rage 1. I don't feel like it's been fucking finished.
I think where they fell down was trying to make it open world and cash in on that trend, because the world itself feels pretty empty when you're not, you're going between towns. I don't know, there's stuff to do, but it's not compelling. I think they should have just done like a Rage 1 where it's, maybe a small open world, but it's basically go to mission. Like a more structure would have been better.
Yeah, maybe yeah. I just think they just needed to fill it. Just clutter it more. Like
that's what I was with.
It's hard to tell with that game.
Open world games are so huge, and everyone just tries to do one, but it's so hard to do one right. Like for every Grand Theft Auto 5, you've got 20 Rage 2s, which just they have their open world, but there's just barely anything in it. It's just nothing to do.
Which I kind of get because it's like, completely apocalyptic. There wouldn't be much around to be
fair.
But
I mean, you can argue the point in a sense of like, your New Vegases, your Fallouts and that, they're pretty post-apocalyptic, but there's so many like interesting characters and landmarks and just stuff you're walking along and
you stumble
something
across.
Comes out of the blue.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, Rage just kind of dropped the ball. Like, gameplay was fantastic. The gunplay is awesome. But I think that came from id Software because they kind of had a hand in making the gameplay pretty good. Yeah.
Well, they did the first one as well, so... But, I think it was more of the quests just needed to be more interesting and you needed something just, random to happen in the map other than just the merchants turning up every now and then.
Yeah, agreed.
Like an extra boss or a hidden boss or just people fighting each other or something that would have been cool, like randomly.
Yeah, they just needed stuff to stumble upon. I agree with that. Yeah, something not tied to a quest chain, just little Easter eggs and stuff would have been nice. Like,
Well, that's where I think Borderlands kind of does it right, because it has like multiple quests, but you can also stumble across like bosses and stuff by accident, or just creatures that are way more powerful than your current level by accident and stuff like that. Unless you got the level cap turned on, but
oh yeah, true. So I'm going to say my I guess favorite game of the year. For me, it kind of surprised me, but Death Stranding. Don't know if either one of you guys have played it yet, but yeah, I don't know. It just sort of caught me off guard, but I fell completely in love with it. It is a walking simulator, but I don't know. There's something about it that just it compels you just to keep going. I don't know what it is. Kojima, you can call him what do you call it? Like a, genius and stuff, but I don't know. He just did it. He just did something with it, which really, really, really pulled me into the world.
I didn't really get a chance to play it yet, but at the moment I'm kind of hoping to play it on PC when it comes out later on this year in 2020. But I don't know. It was kind of a mixed bag for me, because it came out at a time when Pokemon was coming out. I was a little bit hyped for that, not so much now because it was very meh. But and also came out when not that long before Jedi Fallen Order came out, and for me I was like, well, I haven't really got that much time to really sit down and play with Death Stranding, so I might hold off and just play Jedi Fallen Order and Pokemon, and then I'll come back to it later. And then I saw it was coming to PC, and I was like, oh, well, I might as well just wait for PC.
It's a long game,
but
it takes a commitment. A lot of in the reviews, a lot of people will say it doesn't get interesting until chapter 3, because the first 5 hours, it's pretty rough in terms of what you're doing. But after playing it, I completely get it. After you get to chapter 3 and the world opens up a bit more, you get some more equipment. It just, I don't know. It's like a puzzle that falls into place. It kind of just really worked for me.
I think it's one of those games where you got to play it a little bit before the story really takes off. Like, I found the same when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. It was a bit like that. Like, you get lost in the world and it's kind of captivates you, but if the story doesn't really kick off into high gear until you start really playing it for a long time, and then you really get grabbed into the world.
That's what this is, man. Like, it's it can be a bit of a slog, but yeah, I don't know. I just loved it. I'm still playing through it. I think I've put in 20, 25 hours so far. But that's with you can just follow the main missions, I guess you'll call them. But essentially just you are delivering stuff from, this place to that place and traversing. And I've seen a lot of reviewers say there's not a lot of combat in there. There is combat. It's just done in a different way. You're sort of you're really punished if you actually kill someone. That has without spoiling anything, that has a big impact on the actual game world, and it's a big thing within the game. So you're sort of actively pushed towards not killing people. You can kill them and deal with it in a way, but it's such a huge amount of work. If you kill one person, it's such a huge amount of work to try and rectify it within the game world that it's just not worth it. You're really it's just you're worth sort of not killing them. You have a lot of non-lethal weapons that you can use and take them down with and that. But
So it's kind of like Dishonored was like that, wasn't it? Where the more people you kill, the more harder consequences there were for killing a lot of people. Other than the targets you need to kill.
In a sense, but this is a lot different. If you kill someone, without spoiling it, it really does muck up your game. You can't really kill someone just la-di-da-di on. And there's a price to pay. It's a pretty big one. We'll change it up. Mitch, your favorite game for 2019?
Old-time favorite. Yeah. Jeez, I don't know.
Compelling.
Well, I didn't really play. Really, it has to be Gears 5. I sunk so much time into it and enjoyed it that, yeah, like, that's probably the one for 2019 for me, apart from, MMOs and stuff that I've enjoyed. So,
What's
that has to be
besides
about it,
arcades, I
really.
guess, and what's like one of your top MMOs that you sort of gone in on?
Well, yeah, so Star Citizen is like my favorite and most hated game of 2019. Firstly, because they made lots of leaps and bounds, especially at the end of the year, but also hated because they didn't release what I thought they were going to release. Well, that they said that they were going to release.
Is this still an alpha?
Which
or
was,
is it like a completely released game now?
Oh, hell no, it's not a completely released game, but it is playable.
Okay, so it's still early access, you'd call it?
Oh, yeah, it's still an alpha. So they have a star system that you can traverse around with your friends, and it's got a 50 player cap per server currently. So you can waltz around, do missions, mining, bounty hunting. You can become... you can go and just kill random people and other players, of course, and then you can be the one getting hunted down by bounty hunters, which is a bit of fun. Quite hard to live that lifestyle, though. But they're bringing in a lot of new stuff, which I was hoping would happen last year, but it's coming in the next year. So, yeah. But that's probably like my favorite. Things like, WoW and stuff like that, I completely just went, nah, I've had enough of this.
Didn't a classic version come out
Had
this
enough
year?
of...
Well, classic.
It did, yeah, and everyone went back to it and started playing it, and then... Oh, it's just toxic, bro. Oh, I found it toxic, at least the community. Some of them on there were pretty bad, so...
Yeah, I haven't...
I was like, I'm not investing all this time again.
15 years. If it even is that old.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, dude, it came out... Oh, geez, when did the original WoW come out? God, I can't even remember now.
It's like
Yeah,
early
yeah.
2000s,
The last time I remember
wasn't
playing it was when you started to buy time cards.
it?
Like... From
Oh,
like
yeah.
EB Games or whatever. Like the
Oh,
60,
yeah.
Going in and buying
like
them.
a 1 month card or whatever.
2004 it came out.
Yeah, so it's about
2004.
Yeah,
right.
that's the last time I played it, and I imagine it's changed a lot since then. But those games sort of they're too daunting for me. They're too big. I'm just like, I don't have enough time in my day to dedicate my life to this.
Yeah.
All I remember about it is World of Warcraft is
Yeah,
that
I think
South Park
for me that's
episode
like
about
the most
World of
memorable
Warcraft.
thing about. I haven't really played it much, so I've got no nostalgia for that South Park episode. It kills me every time.
Yeah, it is a good episode. The WoW is or was good for me back in Lich King expansion, but I suppose talking to you two, you don't know what the hell that means.
I know the
so.
expansion, but again,
I
Oh, you did
played it back then. I played
Lich
it
King
when
was
Lich King came out.
gold.
Yeah, remember because you talked to me
I
into getting it.
remember.
Remember we
That's
played through
right. Yeah, Lich King was the shiznit. I love that.
Actually, I think I got it just like Lich King was out, and I got it just as Burning Crusade. I think was the other one.
No, Burning
Yeah, just
Crusade.
after it.
Oh, now you've got me confused because
know.
I thought it was Burning Crusade, Lich King, Wrath, Pandaria.
is Pandaria the panda one? Which was literally
Yeah.
like come through Panda.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So it went Burning Crusade in 2007, Wrath of Lich King in 2008, Cataclysm in 10. Yeah,
Oh, Cataclysm was the one.
Cataclysm wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed that. Mists of Pandaria was weird. That was in 2012. Warlords of Draenor in 2014, which was okay. Legion in 2014 was, yeah, it wasn't my favorite for sure. And Battle of Azeroth, well, that's when I just went, yeah, nah, stuff this. So yeah,
Well, it's too long for me.
yeah. It's a very long, very long.
It takes a lot of investment, time.
Oh hell yeah, it does. Especially running raids and gearing to max stats.
I think.
Oh, it's just
Destiny was like probably the. It's not really like an MMO, like a big one, but that's probably the most I could take in terms of having a raid and do like an hour-long session, because it just took 4 people forever to do this one thing to get the best loot, and I was like, I just can't be bothered with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Destiny is the only real MMO kind of thing.
Yeah, I got into that. I got into Destiny way too late.
I mean, it's still good, I think, but it's the same thing. Destiny 1 and 2, there's almost no difference. Like it's an expansion, really.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just I felt like that too when Destiny 2 came out. They just overhauled a couple of things and then tacked on an extra story, and it's like, to me, it didn't feel like it's a sequel. It just, yeah, you're right. It feels like it was just a big, really
I remember
big
when
expansion.
Destiny first came out. I think Bungie were like, we've got like a 10-year plan for this, series and all this sort of stuff, and it's like, what are they? 5 years in now? 6? What?
5 years in, I think it was, but that's why everyone's like a bit worried, because now since they split from Activision, it's like, what does this mean for like the Destiny franchise, and like where are they going to take it now? Like,
huge bank of money, really.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it do all right on its own, but it's more of like, are they going to remove the microtransactions, and like, where's the story go from here? And
I think a game like that kind of lives or dies on microtransactions. It's like Fortnite, like if they charge for the game, yeah, they might make some money, but having those cosmetic items that, I don't know, people just bloody love, that's where they make all the money.
Yeah, I think if Fortnite ever went to like change to you have to purchase it now, I think the
it's all like
pretty much just drop off.
11, whatever.
Yeah, because it's free to play, so they can just download and play as much as they want, and then beg their parents to buy.
I honestly can't believe how huge it became in 2019. That's actually 2019. It became so bloody huge. I just can't believe it. It's one of the biggest games in the world. Actually, I think it is the biggest game.
Then Apex Legends has had a big surge as well.
Yeah, and that's far better.
I prefer Apex Legends a lot more than Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, even that annoys me. I just don't like microtransactions and people spending money for a new bloody helmet or shitty costume. But it's got good gameplay.
I don't mind microtransactions. The only time I don't like microtransactions, though, is when it's pay to win. If they're giving you better stuff than what you can get in-game, but you have to spend real-world money, then that's bullshit. We've already paid for the game. We should be able to achieve everything in the game. But one of the games, Chronicles of Illyria, that I'm waiting for that to come out, they've promised, so you pretty much buy the game for $30, but in that $30 is like you have a life, and your character ages and dies, and you can have a wife, or if you're female, a husband or whatever, and have a child or adopt a child or whatever the fuck you want. Really, really big game. And then after about a year real time, your character will die. Its soul is saved to a library, and to continue playing along your story or your family story, you pay another $30 the next year, and you just continue on. So I reckon that's a pretty good way of doing it. $30 a year. It's not a bad idea to me.
There's definitely wrong way. But, no. Who knows? Let them do what they do. And if I like it, I'll get it. If I don't, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I just think that if you do pay to win, there's no point.
It cheats the game.
You'll get all the good players, just all normal players just leaving a game in the end, which happened with Arcade. until the Arcade Unchained on Steam came out, where you paid for the game and it was no longer pay to win. Like you paid for cosmetics and stuff, sure, but not pay to win.
Yeah. Aaron, you've got your your top favorite game, 2019.
Bit of a surprise actually, and I didn't think like an indie game would get it, but
Because of Pokemon.
my friend Pedro actually would be my top game.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I know it's a bit controversial.
What?
But if you play the game, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I've seen it and it looks good, but I haven't actually played it. It's on my it's on Game Pass, so I've downloaded it. Just haven't got to it yet.
Yep, you should play it.
Is it that good?
Forget the story. The story's a bit weird, but it's weird and wacky, but at the same time, it's fun and addictive. It's one of those games where you don't care about the story so much. You just play it for the gameplay because it's fun. It's just a fun game.
Yeah, that's odd. Interesting choice, but hey, whatever floats
It's your
your boat,
choice,
mate.
and you can live with that.
Yeah, it is interesting. I know it's probably not what a lot of people thought I would say.
Well, I was honestly expecting Pokemon Sword and or Shield.
Unfortunately, that's going to be one of the biggest disappointments of 2019 for me.
I knew it. It's trash. Confirmed.
If it wasn't the whole Dexit thing, and then going from that to actually playing it, and then it just they got many things wrong about it, and I think it's for a game that's supposed to be on the Switch, that was supposed to be amazing for 3D visuals and all that. There was a lot of just empty space and a lot of story that was pretty weak, and I think that's the biggest problem with the Pokemon games now is that a lot of the Pokemon games, the story is just getting weaker and weaker as like new additions come out, and like fair enough, there's only so much you can do in the Pokemon like franchise, but it'd be nice to have like good old stories from like the Kanto Johto stories were really in depth and all about Team Rocket, and there was a lot of things on the line, and then it got to like Black and White where it was actually challenging people's perspective of what Pokemon are and that kind of thing. But now getting to Sun and Moon, it's just like it feels like it was a slap together story. The visuals look okay, but could have been a lot better. And the new Pokemon that added, half of them are just aren't that attractive. Like they're not compelling that you go out of your way to go, yeah, I'm definitely using that. But there's only like I don't know, I think it was like 130 Pokemon that added now. There was only like maybe 3 out of them that I actually went, yeah, I'll use them on my team for sure, and that's it.
It wasn't, I don't know. For me, it was just, I think it's like you said, it was like a Switch game, and it was hyped up as like, the first mainline Pokemon console game. It's going to be epic and awesome, and it was just like a wet fart. I just didn't like it. I expected so much more, and people sort of have said, give them a break and that sort of stuff, but it's like, no, you've been literally making these games for 20 years. If you can't change the formula up enough and just give it that like next big step, what's the point? For me, it just felt like literally like a up-resed 3DS Pokemon title. I think it was just so disappointing.
Yeah, and I found many tropes as well. Like it's with every Pokemon game, they usually add something new that changes it from generation to generation. But this one is just like we've run out of ideas. Hey, let's just make these Pokemon super big now, and that's can be the big thing for the game. Which it gets old. That's what I mean. It gets old real quick. It's like it's a cool thing you can do that, but you can only do it at gym battles and max raid battles, and you're like, okay, it's once you've done it a couple of times, it's not that great. Like it gets boring real quick. It doesn't change anything to the Pokemon games. It limits your moves, and it just feels like it's just not fun. Just not much to it. The rival feels like a copy and paste from Ultra Sun and Moon. The champion feels like he's just blue all over again, but not as like doesn't have a personality as much. And the villain just makes no sense whatsoever. It just feels like okay, you just slapped a villain in there because, hey, it's Pokemon, you need a villain, but there's no motivation for why the villain team does what they do.
Nah, I don't know if they rushed it or either just lazy or whatever it was, but I really think they, if they just said, look, we're not going to have a Pokemon game for 4 years because we're, really going to do something special, I would have preferred that. Breath of the Wild, it's a classic example, but it went so far away from what a Zelda game is and incorporated so much like new elements and, ideas that it ended up being like one of the best Zelda games ever because they sort of went, well, we've done the exact same thing for so long. Like Skyward Sword was like one of the most bland and boring Zelda games ever. And then they sort of thought, you know what, let's do something different. And it worked.
And I think that's why it really annoys me with the DLC that got announced last night for Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's like, why wasn't this here at launch? Like, if you just needed more time to add more to the game and add more Pokemon to the game, then why didn't you just delay the game? That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, look, it's taking longer than we thought. Give us another year or so. We'll sort it out. We'll make this the best Pokemon game ever. Just give us more time. And I think a lot of people in the Pokemon community would have went, fine, okay, cool, just give us something in between. Then they could have went, hey, we've got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon from Game Boy Advance being remade. Here's a game to tie you over while we continue hard at work on Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I think it would have, one, not pissed off the Pokemon community. Two, probably would have been the best Pokemon game yet. And then three, everyone would have been happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, at first everyone's shocked when, somebody says a game's delayed, like Metroid Prime 4. I was really looking forward to that. So when I sort of made the announcement that, hey, look, it's not up to scratch, not where we want it. So we're basically starting again with a new developer. As much as it sucks that now it's going to take like 2 or 3 years before we even see it, at least I know they sort of said, hey, look, this is shit. Scrap it and let's go back to Retro Studios and let's start it again. Where I think Pokemon needs to be given to somebody besides Game Freak. Just another developer, fresh ideas. Game Freak just, I don't know if they're lazy or if they're just bored, but just it's the same stuff every time.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people in the Pokemon community have found that way. They found like, obviously Game Freak is not interested in Pokemon anymore. I mean, who can blame them when they've been doing it for over 20 years now? And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's time to hand it over to Nintendo themselves or outsource it to the Retro Studios or some
Square Enix.
Give it to them. Or
they make some really good RPGs. I think they could do a good job with it.
Or even give it to, partner with Square Enix, and then I guess the only problem with Square Enix is that they'll try to do it like some Final Fantasy crossover bullshit or something with it.
They'll all have like fantastic hair.
Or like give it to, I don't know. I don't know. There's a few developers out there, but the point is that Game Freak, I think, really needs to pass the torch to somebody.
Like EA.
Yeah.
So it's just microtransaction through the arse.
I think EA has a lot of things to work on to bring themselves back. There's a lot of damage control they need to do. Same with Blizzard after all the controversy and then laying off 8% of their staff in 2019. It's not looking as a good sign for a lot of big developers at the moment.
And they had that Hong Kong, not scandal, but they basically sort of pushed that under the rug, and everyone's like, "What are you doing, mate? What have you done?"
Yeah, exactly. And it's not exactly a good thing when you piss off your own community, then do nothing to fix it, and then decide to apologize when it gets to like an international level, and then the apology just comes across like half-assed. Like you're only saying that because your stock has dived on the stock market,
And you know what? Like I think if we're talking sort of disasters of 2019. Bethesda, fuck me, it's just not good on any level. And I think that ties into what you were saying about Mitch, about them being sort of corporate, and it's like our stocks are dropping. Fallout 76 releases disaster, so they're like, hey, sorry about that. here's some DLC that you have to pay for. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Fallout this. Oh, yeah.
Just a huge
wow.
swing and a miss.
Fallout 76, and then you had what was actually just Fallout 76 mainly was the big problem.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and then they had Rage 2 as well, and
Rage
not
2
everyone
wasn't that big
agreed
of a
with
deal.
Rage 2. They
It
got
wasn't that big of a deal. It just went under
yeah,
the
but just
radar.
it was like
yeah, I think it's more Fallout
Yeah.
76 was clearly
icing
a
on
cash
the
grab.
cake as well.
It was them being like, people like Fallout, we like money, we can make money and more money with Fallout Online, and it was just rushed.
That had a lot of potential though. That fucking game.
like
and they just fucking blew
a Fallout
it.
76 like online RPG. That the problem was like it was just an empty ass world. Sure, you can see other people, but
I remember when it first came out. But
you
like,
need NPCs and
it was
stuff to fill it in.
Yeah, it was goddamn
Yeah.
dead.
I
Dead
think
as
the
a
problem with
doornail.
Fallout 76 is not just like the game release with a lot of bugs, little to nothing in the game, and just no real like incentive to play it, but it also didn't help that the pre-order incentives with like the whole canvas bag not actually being canvas didn't help them either. And then
Oh wow!
remember
Yeah,
that.
no.
and then also the fact that the
Yeah.
Vault Hunter helmet that they released I think it was like a year or two ago, had to be recalled because of mold being built up into the helmet.
Jeez.
So it's
Yeah.
not exactly been a good year for Bethesda.
Nah, and then
Not at all. They've had a shocking
no,
one.
Bethesda. No, hang on. That was Anthem was BioWare. My bad. Forget what I said. But yeah, even like I think when at E3 when they had that I felt bad, but they had that video of like the developers, programmers, and that, and it was basically them being like, "Hey, we're people. Please don't yell at us and hurt us and abuse us online."
Oh yeah. I remember
Anyway,
that.
here's Fallout 76 DLC. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's like it's such a corporate move to be like, we're also people. Some of you are.
Buy our shit though, yeah.
On the positive spectrum of that, though, I like the fact that Bethesda's aware of that and they play toy with it. Like the whole idea, E3 when they were like, now we got Skyrim on the fridge and on Alexa and
Yeah, I think Todd Howard, the way he presents himself in the company, I like that. But apart from that, I don't know. They've just lost a lot of faith with me.
I think
Even like the new Oblivion, there's nothing on it. Was it this year at E3? They literally had like a picture with the title.
well, that was
like,
the
here you
Elder Scrolls 6
Yeah,
announced it.
and that's
This
just to
was
be
just
like
a title
please,
and a map.
It was literally
damage control.
It was literally them just saying we're working
Yeah,
on
and
it.
that's literally damage
It's
control.
like-
It's just them being like, remember
Yeah.
Oblivion? You guys still love us, right? Please.
Remember Skyrim? Please come back and play our games. Remember how many hours you sunk into that game? Yes, we all fucking do.
And
we
then
all
the other
still
thing
fucking
announced
play
is
it.
that space title that's coming out in the next year or two, but it's like
Starfall?
Starfield. I think it's like Starfield.
Starfield, yes.
Yeah, they announced it. And it's just literally a black screen, half a circle, and then Starfield. And it's like, yeah, cool, but it doesn't tell us anything.
No, and I swear
It's
they
like,
said that
who
it's
came up
literally
with that?
like
Your marketing department?
just sort of like in really early stages of development. So like it's 3-4 years away. So it's like cool, I guess, man.
You're just
but
telling us there's
what's the
something
point?
there, but we have to wait for it, and yet there's no info.
There's no spoilers. There's no teaser
It's kind of
trailers,
pointless.
there's
It's just like,
nothing.
okay, they're working on something, but what does this mean? Like, nobody really knows what it's about. It's like what they should have
Yeah.
done is been like,
Yeah,
yeah, we're working on a new title. We're calling it Starfield, and they're just not even announced the trailer or anything. And just go, but you'll hear more about that in a couple of years when it's ready. That's all you had to say. Like, just passing comment or something. Not sure this is weird.
yeah.
Not
Rather
sure
than
this is a weird
yeah,
trailer that means
yeah.
nothing to anyone. They're just like, okay, new IP,
Yeah, they're doing this
but
whole
we don't know what it
cryptic
is.
bullshit. Yeah, it's all this cryptic stuff. Like, could you imagine if they do like what they've done with Fallout 76 or whatever to the next Elder Scrolls? Like, just after Skyrim and all the ones that predated it, they were amazing. games. Well, the storytelling was great. They had amazing graphics for the time in Skyrim, and it was massive world, and it's still getting modded and updated, and people are still doing heaps of stuff with it. But if they do that to the next Elder Scrolls game, oh my god, they might as well write their own freaking death
then if they do
like,
pay
really.
once again, like that disaster, and they tried to do it again this year.
Yeah, because everyone loves that. Here's some mods, but you gotta give us money. Stupid.
Which I like. I can understand mods for people that are out there that make their own mods and they want some money for them. I get that. Like, those guys put a hell of a lot of time in.
Oh yeah, but
and sure, they deserve donations and
at the same time,
stuff like that. But god damn,
most people that mod games that I've sort of like seen online or whatever, they do it because they love it. They're not doing it for money. So like, yeah, they definitely should get some sort of money because, like you said, it's a huge amount of work. But they just love the game, so they're like, hey, look, I spent time doing this, and I want to give this to the community. Whereas Bethesda's like, hey, we built this, but we kind of want some money for it, though, please.
Yeah, completely different. Completely different. I agree. That's why I think like they should have allowed a lot of the people that did all the mods for Skyrim and stuff just to have a donations page like they did on Steam Workshop.
100%.
Well, that's why I think it's the problem is that, like, you understand it from like Bethesda's point of view because they're like, well, this is technically our IP you're messing around with, but when you're asking for like nearly 70% of the share of the mod, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's utter bullshit. But the thing is, it's not like that people went into their game and pulled files out and did it without proper access. If you go into the Steam store, Bethesda have a literal working program for modding their freaking game. They've supplied the means and the ability to do so. It's not like they went out there and went, oh no, you guys are ripping off our material. Oh shit, they gave you the keys, man. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Gave you the keys for a portion
It
of the cup.
infuriates me. Yeah, well, that too, apparently. Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's just infuriating. That really that's a bee under my body, that's for sure, mate. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you heard that, Bethesda, so fucking sharpen up.
Yeah, if you fuck up Elder Scrolls 6, I'm coming.
Coming
Come
real
with a
hard.
scathing review.
Guess who's getting 1% of it?
Yeah. Just Mitch ranting on him. I waited years for this, you
Just
son of a bitch.
Every day just streaming about how I hate the game. No.
Just do in front of the chair, just like, all right, guys, rant 582. Fucking Bethesda.
Just buy multiple screens I can punch.
Just you walk up to Todd Howard's office. Hey, you piece of shit.
You fucked
10
up
reasons why I
again.
hate Elder Scrolls 6 over 10 days. Every day is just like one reason.
Well, I hope not. Let's fucking hope.
Well,
Jesus.
content ideas, so there you go. Use them. But I guess we're talking sort of...
Hopefully it's the other way.
like,
Sorry,
you're
go
on
on.
it. Like stuff coming up soon and this year and the future or whatever. New consoles. That's kind of like a hot topic at the moment.
Hell yeah. I am
Probably
hyped.
the biggest news of 2019 in terms of like PS5 officially getting announced and Xbox actually really surprised at the Game of the Year awards, just sort of being like, check this out, Series X.
It's like, by the way, this is a thing.
Yeah, it surprised me. It was, I don't know, I wouldn't say ballsy, but interesting move because Sony have really stepped away from advertising with other people. Like E3, they're like, fuck yeah, we're not coming. Because they're doing their own like Sony Directs or State of Plays, I think they call
State
them.
of play now, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not doing
And I was
PlayStation Experience anymore, so it's just like, it feels like PlayStation's stepping away from the community, which is the most terrible thing you could be doing right now. It's just...
Well, I think that's going to be the most interesting thing about the next console race is it's not a secret, but Xbox is far behind PS4 in terms of sales and popularity. I think they have a really good chance to sort of turn that around.
I think this time around, I think Xbox might actually be the console of the next generation.
Yeah, and I think sort of from what I've seen and that, I feel like Xbox is really committed to doing something different, as in like really pushing that next boundary. Whereas I almost feel like I love PlayStation, but I feel like the PS5 might just sort of be like the PS4, but better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the problem is at the moment is that a lot of the head honchos of Sony left last year. Oh, yeah, in 2019, like Sean Layden's gone. Who else was there? There was a couple other people from Sony that left as well. The president of Sony retired after 35 years finally. So it kind of feels like it really feels like PlayStation right now is stuck in a limbo with no leadership right now. Like there's no one really guiding where PlayStation is going to go for the next generation.
Yeah.
And
like the last 2 years, they had God of War, Days Gone, Spider-Man. There was something else, I can't remember it, but like really good games or like a good slate of exclusive titles. Apart from Last of Us Part 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anything else that's like full exclusive for Sony next year.
Last of Us Part 2 will be good though. Well, we're all hoping it'll be good.
I have all faith it's going to be great. Naughty Dog honestly haven't done wrong in my eyes.
Listen to Avengers. Avengers is a Sony only though, isn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Xbox.
Is it?
I feel like it is.
I thought it was exclusive, and that's why a lot of people are annoyed
Maybe it's
with
a
it.
timed exclusive.
I think it's a timed exclusive.
Yeah, which counts for fuck all. But I don't know, and I think next year is going to be a little bit different because of those new consoles. You kind of see people start pulling away from. That's probably why there's not that many high-profile releases.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII is also on PlayStation only this year as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy has always been pretty Sony heavy. But I mean, look, actually, Mitch, you're a pretty huge PC gamer. It's not a secret. But what are your thoughts on the consoles? I mean, like Xbox, they really seem to be swinging for that. We're like a PC, but a console. Like the image they released, it looks like a PC tower. So you can sort of see where they're going for that. Like we're hardcore gamers.
And look, to be honest with you, what's under the hood of that Xbox is pretty bloody decent. If you look at like what, so PC gaming is very hard because you have your low-end rigs, your medium rigs, and then your high-end rigs, whereas console, it's pretty much all over the board. Everyone has the same gear. And really, what's under the hood of the Xbox is pretty damn good. Like, unless you're spending, or spending and also an enthusiast on building, and spending a lot more money, it's pretty damn good, to be honest with you. And especially with the amount of cross-play stuff between PC and Xbox now, you got your Xbox Game Pass and you can play a lot of stuff that is all open. You can play a lot of stuff that's on both. And if you have your Xbox Game Pass and your online pass, it works for both. And it's just their marketing and their tech strategy and everything is all coming together and working really well together. So to be honest with you, I'm usually a PlayStation fanboy if it's going to come to consoles, but really PlayStation needs to come up with something because Xbox have done some really good thinking here, or Microsoft itself has done some really good thinking.
Yeah.
Because having PC work with the Xbox, so their console and their PC all working together, it's just a win-win, man. Like, and that's just good business right there. Like, they have done well.
I think one of the most interesting things is that because it's called the Series X, I can't remember if it's been officially stated by Microsoft or not, but I think the idea is that it's the Series X and there will be other consoles. So maybe it's sort of like what you said, where I don't know how it's going to work really, but they might have your high end, like, your Xbox One X. It's $700-800. It's got all this, bells and whistles, but then they've just got the Xbox Series, I don't know, whatever, and that's like your basic bitch console.
From what I understand, is the moving forward, they won't be calling it Xbox 720 or anything like that. From now on, they're keeping the series name. Instead of having like Xbox One X, Xbox 2 or whatever, they're going to have an Xbox Series X is going to be the main brand, and they'll have a cheaper model that will be like Series C or something, and then the next console after that would be like Series XS or X4, like X2 or something like that. So the whole idea behind it right now is Series is going to be like the premium series, like Samsung has with their TVs, or like Series 8 TVs, Series 9 or whatever. Xbox is kind of doing the similar thing with their consoles, where they'll be like, this is the Series X, the next one's after that is Series XS, XY, X2 or whatever they call it, or Series A or whatever. But,
which is interesting. Look, because how are they gonna? Yeah. Like Mitch was saying with PC games, your low, medium, high end rigs, the games are made to be able to adjust those settings, and that's like based on the developer. So if Microsoft are going down that path of, here's your high end series and here's your low end series, and that, how's it really going to work with developers? So they have to sort of basically make two different, titles in the sense where it's one that works on this console and there's one that works on this one.
This is where Project X Cloud comes in, with the cloud computing and all that. And we've seen it already with Google Stadia, which that was a disaster. But Project X Cloud is kind of leaning towards that, where it won't really matter what kind of Xbox you got. You'll be it'll be kind of up to the developer of what settings they put in, but it'll be more cloud-based more than anything else, so it's really not going to matter what kind of specs you have in the Xbox. It should be able to put out close to the specs that the game developer wants people to experience their games in, really.
What's the point then if you can buy the low-end console and use xCloud to get the same experience as somebody who spent all the dollars in the high-end one?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, it's going to come down to a couple of things. It's going to come down to, your internet connection. It's going to come down to what your graphics card can output, and it's going to come down to what kind of monitor or screen you're running. Because if you're running a TV screen, the millisecond lag and stuff is going to change. So big TVs are anywhere between 5 to 10 milliseconds, of like connection time, and then the smaller monitors you can get 1 to 2 milliseconds, and the same with your mouse or your controller. So there are things that are going to dictate whether or not you're going to be gaming well or viewing the game well, as well as your internet connection is going to be a massive thing, which is for Australians a scary fucking thing, because our internet is on par with some of the worst in the world, really, or like the modern world.
We have the NBN.
Exactly my bloody point.
5G comes in.
Exactly
5G.
my point. Yeah, the 5G rollout. Yeah, sure. That'll take another 20 years in Australia, mate.
But I think it's more of you'll have more spec things to do with the console. So you'll have like consoles that have ray tracing, and then some consoles don't support ray tracing, and then you'll have ones that support like 5.1 channel sound, and ones that only support like 2.1, or like they've done with the Xbox One S, where they've got an all digital version and then a disc based version, and then
even then I feel like still, like, I don't mind being able to buy digital games, but I feel like unless they're having those Sony sales and that online, I still find it too expensive. Like if a brand new game comes out, $69 or whatever you want to say it, like a leading retailer. But then I go online and it's like 89. Usually it's $99, unless they've discounted it, which I still find extremely odd.
Yeah, I find that too. Yeah,
it's very.
If you go on the PlayStation Store, and it's like games are like $90 or whatever, and then you jump and say something like on JB Hi-Fi's website or something, and the game's like $69. It's like, but you're getting exactly the same thing. So why is it $30 difference?
Actually, You are, but at the same time, the whole point of digital is, I get it's convenience, but you're cutting out the physical, the shipping, the making, the case and printing the disc and stuff. So, in theory, it really should be cheaper.
Theoretically, you've got the servers that are going to be online in mass amount to to allow for that kind of traffic to download, especially for games where people want to be on day one, multiplayer games and stuff like that. I suppose so. There is still some cost, but I think it's a monopoly on console. When you think about PC, we can go to many different areas or different websites and buy our games digitally there. You got, plenty of different places you can do that. But with console, you're stuck with who you got. You can't outsource your online purchasing. So that's something that might have to be looked at because, well, monopolizing a market or monopolizing a certain product isn't that illegal? I thought that was illegal.
I think it depends how much share you have. Like Disney is sort of, I think they're like on that tipping point of they own almost too much, but at the same time, I think there's loopholes. Like there was a point where Microsoft got so big they had to separate the two companies because they were like, I think they were worth more than what America's worth or something. I can't remember exactly, but they just,
that's unsurprising.
They were way too big as a company. But yeah, no, you're right. If PlayStation theoretically sort of control the prices, they need to do something a little bit better. And I think if we're going to go that digital route, you need to go the sort of Steam method where they have almost every game ever on there, but the prices are fairly reasonable. They know that it's digital. You shouldn't be paying as much, and therefore you really don't.
But to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if everything in the future, digital-wise, either becomes cheaper or there'll be some kind of like trade-in scheme where you trade in a digital key for a new game. Instead, get like a percentage of a new game or something like that. Because we've already started to see the decline in physical sales already. Like EB Games, for example, is just this week alone they've had to shut down 19 stores, and GameSpot in America that owns EB Games is suffering hardcore. They're hemorrhaging money, and nobody's willing to buy it because they can see that, like in the next few years, I wouldn't be surprised that EB Games is either doesn't exist anymore or they're all just pop culture stores like Zing only, and that'd be it. And they're already heading that way.
That or they move to a full-time digital online store,
like GOG or something.
Yeah.
It's got to be done because you can't keep up with the market that way. Because when you think about it, it's not like, oh, I want to go out and I want to check out this dishwasher, but I want to see it first before I buy it online, kind of thing. It's like, this game has a trailer online. This game has other people playing already online. They've played the beta or whatever, And so you get to have a good look at what it's actually about. And then you go, I do want that. Stuff going and spending fuel to go drive to the shops when I can download it in my own home.
We've had a taste of it with, the Game Pass. We've all spoken about it. I honestly think that's the route it's going to go down. You're going to have a lot more, whether it's Sony or even if it's EB, if somehow they sort of get rights to games, they do like a Netflix-based subscription thing where you pay, $40-$30, whatever it is, a month, but you have access to a huge library of games. Because at this point in time, we've spoken about it, but there is like 20 different, companies doing it, Ubisoft, EA, whatever. But the future's interesting. I'm really looking forward to what this year holds. The new consoles.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we all are, really. It's always good to get that new piece of tech and just have the box, open it up. You get that, I don't know, new smell. It's like a new car smell. It's like, I love it.
I think the next generation will come in the holiday period. It's going to be an interesting time because I think it's going to be the rise of digital games, the end of physical games, and then also the rise of streaming services as well. Like the Game Pass is absolutely killing it right now, and I think
and it's
a good thing. Like I'm not saying it's a bad thing; it's a good thing.
Oh.
But I think if Sony really wants the PS5 to succeed this time around, they've really got to step up their game. Like they're going to have backwards compatibility like Xbox has. They've got to release some form of streaming service that's similar to the Xbox Game Pass that actually is worthwhile. That's going to make gamers really go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to change from Game Pass to the Sony Pass or whatever they call it.
Well, I mean, even at both, like, myself, and I don't think I'm alone. I've got the Disney Plus and Netflix and stuff, and I could easily see myself having, Sony's Game Pass and Xbox's Game Pass, and if Nintendo follows suit and have a Nintendo Game Pass, depending on the cost and stuff, I wouldn't see it out of realm of possibilities of having a couple of different game, subscription services and just going between the two, because one will have some games and one will have other games.
I suppose it just depends on what consoles they're on, though. You got to think like Nintendo's just going to stick to their Switch and stuff, which is fair enough. That's what they got, and then PlayStation's going to stick to their PS4, PS5, but Xbox, Microsoft, they've done PC and Xbox in one hit. Like, top that.
Well,
really? Like,
you can't.
Wow.
But I think it's going to be a trend.
They've just... Yeah. Well, I honestly, hats off to Microsoft, because well played.
Phil Spencer.
Also, I think Phil Spencer's really taken the feedback on board from gamers as well. I mean, I think
I'll give him credit for that.
Where Sony's kind of won it this time around was that the console PS4 was affordable, and they had a really strong lineup of first-party games, where Microsoft kind of dropped the ball to begin with the bad policies, thanks to Don Matrick and whatever the hell they were thinking.
Well, and then they had the whole it had to be always online, and if you bought a game, you couldn't trade it in or whatever.
And then they didn't acquire any first-party studios, and then the first-party studios they did have was only really Forza and Halo and Gears of War, and then Halo 5 came out and it got bad reviews, and then Forza just was just the same every year, and then Gears was a bit better, but
Gears was good.
That was it. Like, you didn't Crackdown 3, but that got promised for 5 years, and then it finally came out and it was shit. So,
but I think you're right.
That's because everyone's hype up was so goddamn long. It was like when it finally came out, it was just like
and then they had Tomb Raider, which ended up being a timed exclusive, so ended up coming to other platforms. And then you had and then Sony comes out and they're like, hey, we've got Uncharted 4, we got Last of Us Remastered, we've got Spyro, we've got God of War. Well, Spyro's came out on every platform, but then we have God of War, and then we have Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone.
Yeah, they just kept coming. They just kept pulling hit after hit after hit. Like they really did. They did well. So it'll be interesting, because I actually think it's probably Microsoft's year next year, to be honest with you, with the Game Pass.
Well, you mentioned
with some of the stuff they got going on.
Well, I think Microsoft's going to kill it, because not only that, they've got that all access program with the Xbox now, which means that you don't have to fork out $600, $700 for a new console. You can get it on a plan now. Here in Australia, Telstra offers it, and overseas, America, the AT&T and that offer consoles for $20 or $30 a month. So,
yeah, it's and for a lot of gamers getting into it, or people who have all those consoles but don't want to shell out the stupid amount of money up front, it makes a goddamn lot of sense.
For people that kind of afford it, instead of shelling out $600 straight up, they can put it on a plan, pay $30 a month, and they've got the latest console sitting in their living room, and they're playing Halo Infinite or
Yeah, exactly. It's just well played. Hats off to them this year. End of the year, this coming year, played.
And then you think about Game Pass as well. You imagine they launched the Xbox Series X, and then they're like, by the way, all the first party games we've got after acquiring the Psychonauts developer and all that, all our games that we're bringing out, they're all coming to Game Pass. You get it for free. You get it with the Game Pass. So it's for Sony to compete with that, they're going to have to come and go, here's a PS5, you can pay it off per month, and here's our Sony Pass. That's the only thing they're going to do they're going to have to do to match it. Or they're going to have to come out with some ludicrous tech or something that just is a game changer to make everyone buy the PS5.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
PlayStation VR 2 or whatever, but it actually has haptic feedback or something. You need something insane for everyone to want to buy the PS5.
I don't even know what to say about Sony at the moment, to be honest.
And that's the thing, everything's behind closed doors with Sony, and it feels like Xbox is gone, come and embrace me, give me hugs, here's the new console, here's the Game Pass, love me. And whereas Sony is more
Secret.
We'll show you when we're ready. We're keeping it close to our chests. Don't worry, we've
so
got
odd.
something, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
Which is and it's a big backfire, I think. Like, because look at how we're responding to Microsoft. Like, the way they're doing things, the way they're being so open about everything. It's like, oh, awesome. Oh, sweet. This is coming. Oh, awesome, you know? But with Sony, we're like, geez, what the hell's going on? Are they going downhill? Or are we going to see them in the next 5 years? You know? Like, I know we're probably going to see them still in the next 5 years. Just
and I think
more
it's
of
interesting because it's coming
that
from,
whole-
like, I'm a big Sony fan. I have been for, like, many years. But I think it's weird that it's coming to the end of the PS4 life cycle, and I'm starting to enjoy Xbox more than Sony at the moment. Like, literally, I turned my PS4 on for the first time in, like, months today. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's a bit slow, but sluggish.
Yuck, turn it off.
Yeah, and then I turn my Xbox on, and I'm like, oh, my
I'm
games are
sorry,
downloading
baby, I'm
just a lot
sorry.
quicker. And then
It didn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's like that though. Like, I'm on the same bandwagon. Like, I don't have a newer Xbox. I'm still got a 360, but just with on the PC side of things, with the access to all these games and stuff like that, with the Game Pass and stuff, I'm like, hell yeah.
what
Hell
really
yeah.
did it for me?
This is awesome. I haven't
was-
turned. I think I use my PS4 as a bloody. I think it runs Netflix and Disney Plus on the main screen for
Hey,
the kid.
boy.
Like, she's not doing much. She's not
Well,
doing
see, I
much
used
anymore.
it for pretty much playing Days Gone and that, but then as soon as that was done, I was like, okay, I think I'm done with the console for now. Like, unless some big title drops, like, well, Last of Us 2 would be the next big one for me, but till that comes out, it's probably just going to sit there being lonely. And I think...
Yeah, it's a bit
I
like
think
that.
also what helps is that, you know, what really did it for me was when Gears 5 got announced and it came out like a week and a half earlier for people that had Game Pass, and it was like pretty much already paid
Yeah.
for, so you could literally download the Ultimate Edition a week and a half before the actual physical release. It's like if they do that with every major A-list title that Microsoft has under their belt, then there's no need for anything else. So-
Yeah, you're not gonna. There's not much competition there, is there?
I think we'll see
So,
some big stuff
yeah.
from both companies this year. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it.
yeah.
I think E3 this year is when we're going to see a lot more in terms of, well, actually, not even from Sony, because they're doing their own thing, like you said, behind closed doors.
Yeah, they keep boycotting all those things.
Yeah, they're going to do state of play, and I think it's because they got really negative feedback from the PlayStation experience.
But it's just
in
so weird.
2018.
Like,
But
we all know the PS5's coming. Just show it. Like, surely it's at that stage where
Oh,
you
well,
have
their
a design.
Their janitor showed it for us.
Hey?
Well, didn't you see a janitor
Oh,
or
yeah.
a cleaner or
That's a
whatever?
dev kit.
it's the
leaked-
dev kit, though.
Which looks like a bloody Star Trek apparatus.
I don't mind the look of that,
It
actually.
looks cool, but way
Just
too
take
bulky.
the screen off the front. Oh, well, yeah, no, that's fair. Especially for, like, the PlayStation design. They're usually
It'll be
sleek
slow.
and clean.
Everything's sleek these days. Like,
If Mark Cerny's making
smaller
it-
bezels, smaller frames. That's what everything's going for.
I guarantee you, if Mark Cerny's making it like you did with the PS4 and the PS3, it'll be sleek. It'll be sleek,
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah.
slim, and basically be able to stand upright. That's Mark
And,
Cerny in a nutshell.
Before we wrap it up, I guess the interesting part about the new consoles, though, is there's been a lot of details about the controllers, and with the Xbox, obviously, we've actually seen it. It looks like the exact same. I think there's one extra button. So it's almost like we've reached that point where, yeah, this is pretty much perfect. We're not gonna muck with this too much.
If it ain't broke, then I try to fix
Well,
it.
yeah. Even as Sony, from the leaks that there's been, like the patents or whatever, the new DualShock 5 looks the same. I think it's slightly bigger with a slightly
It's slightly bigger, has
different.
better feedback on it, and has triggers underneath the back. Kind of like the Xbox Elite controller. It has the triggers underneath.
yeah. So it's more or less the same, just
Which I
upgraded.
don't mind that. I don't mind the extra triggers, to be honest. But yeah.
But if it ain't broke, like I said, don't fix it. So Xbox, they know what they're doing. They're good at it.
Yeah, well, when they shut off the controller
That's
for
it.
the Series X, it's literally just the Xbox One controller with one extra button for sharing, and that's it. That's all it is.
Only thing I didn't like about the Xbox controller was it was a bit bulky.
I like that though. I love
It
the
was a
old
bit
school,
bulky.
like the first Xbox controller.
And the
was
Duke, where nobody could hold
just
it properly.
way oversized.
Yeah, that thing.
I don't know
was
who
ridiculous.
thought that was a good idea, but
An adult who didn't think that kids at like 10 or 12 would be playing his
Go with
console.
bold
both
move.
hands.
I applaud him for it. Here's a big fuck off controller. Maybe it was so that your kids can't play it. It's like, Dad, can I play
It's
the
a big
Xbox? No,
Swedish-
your hands can't fit in it. Go away.
You should
Yeah.
be playing Halo anyway, kid. Fuck off.
Yeah.
two of you can play the one controller because that's the only way you're going to be
Yeah,
able to hold it.
I'll walk forward, you aim and shoot. And I'll fire
The old
grenades.
school method. Well, I guess
Shit.
we'll kind of wrap it up there for episode 3, which is crazy. So I mean, look,
Yeah, first one of 2022.
first
Jeez.
one in 2020, we're getting out there. Like I said at the start of the podcast, so we've been a bit slack, but our goal is to sort of at least do a weekly episode and get this out to you guys, and be more timely with the news and goings on in the gaming world.
When it was 2020, we have the vision for it.
That's
Oh no, that's it. We're never doing another podcast after that one.
Sorry, I
Jeez.
couldn't help myself.
Man, that joke's not from 2020. I fucking give you that though.
One a year. That's
Yeah.
my one for the year already.
This,
Jeez, no more.
oh,
Well,
2020 hindsight, more like. Jesus.
well, look, I guess I've been Justin. I have a page on Facebook called Good Ken Gaming. I post every now and then when I feel like it. If you want up-to-date content and sort of stuff that's really in-depth and, with the times and that, I'd go to NeoAya, subscribe to them, like and follow. Mitch and Aaron do a great job there with that page, and, mine's just for shits and gigs, really. So go sign up to them. They're worth it.
It's all gigs until someone shits. It's fun.
Well, I shit myself every day, so it's no different from me. But I'm Justin. Thanks for joining us. If you're listening, subscribe to the podcast, whatever device, platform, whatever you're listening to. Mitch and Aaron, you got your little plugs.
Yeah, thanks for not watching. Sorry, I'm used to saying video stuff. Thanks for
Well, you could
listening.
be watching.
Well, you could watch it. I mean, you can watch it on the YouTube channel because it goes there
Feel
as
bad.
well. But
Sitting naked in my chair, just like, I love games.
I'm just thinking, was it the dad from South Park with the computer?
Oh, spooky ghost.
Anyway,
God.
yeah. So on that note, I've been Aaron. We have Neo Air. We update it regularly every day if we can. So check us out on Facebook. You can follow us on all pretty much the social media networks as well. And
And a special shout out. 1K likes.
we just hit 1,000 likes on Facebook, so we got a pretty big community. We're pretty proud of that. And if you want to come join the cool people, come over
That's why I'm not there.
come over to NeoAir. It's NeoAeia. You can also listen to the podcast. It's on Spotify and Podbean. That's probably where you are right now, but in case you want to listen to it wherever you go, in the car or on your phone, we're also on Spotify, so check us out there. It's Party Chat AUS. Type that in the search bar and you can listen to us on Spotify.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and don't forget to, if you do come over and join us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, we are now streaming minimum twice a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays. So do join us for that.
There you go. Do it. Or, I
Yeah.
don't know. Todd Howard will fucking get you in your dreams.
That would be scary. That would be goddamn scary.
That's it. He'll just
Full of
pull your dick
glitches.
off and be like, you gotta pay me money to get this back.
Oh,
Fallout 76, more like Fallout 69. Ooh.
I don't know.
oh God, where's the lie? Oh wow, where did this chat
I don't know,
go?
but
All right, guys,
thank you for
thanks for
joining us.
joining
We'll
us.
see you next
We'll
week.
catch you next time.
See you next week.
See ya.